Again. Chiefs of three services calls on Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus discussed issues related to upcoming general election. Coral Island St. Martin opens for tourists today. Ban of tourists in the island impacts positively on environment. To bolster sustainable preservation and increase hillshire fish, ban on Jatka begins today to continue till June 30 next year. Curtain raised for final stage of Notun Kuri today. Countrymen await to watch the crown of the best of the bests. Sheikh Hasina is still conspiring against the country, staying in India. BNP Secretary General urged India to return her back to the homeland. Israel continues strikes in Palestine and amid ceasefire. An Israeli general resigns following the leakage of a video torturing a Palestinian prisoner. 9th National Yoga Sports Championship concludes today. All are urged to get involved with yoga to build a robust and healthy nation. And in Wellington, New Zealand whitewashes England by 2 wickets in the last one-day international match. And here we end the news. Thank you for being with us. Allah Hafiz.
For accelerating the integrated development of transport system, keeping environment free from negative impacts. Tribunal gives order to start trial by 4 framing charges against Mahbubul Alam Hanif and Hassanul Haq Inu for crimes against humanity committed during July mass uprising. National Citizens Party meets with Chief Election Commissioner. The party agrees to take water lily bud as its symbol. Evidence of unlimited corruption and fraud found in electricity purchase agreements under Electricity and Fuel Rapid Supply Enhancement Special Provisions Act enacted in 2010, says National Committee. BNP announces a 9-day program to observe National Revolution and Solidarity Day on November 7. Referendum can take place on the day of national elections or even before. However, it should be left to Government and Election Commission, says Nahid Islam. Next year's Bishu Ijtima will be held after national elections instead of January for safety reasons, says Religious Affairs Advisor. The final round of Notun Kuri underway. Viewers eagerly waiting to see who will wear the crown of the best in this thrilling battle of talent. U.S. President Donald Trump threatens of military operation in Nigeria over allegations of killing of Christians. And South Africa batting with a victory target of 299 runs against host India in Women's ODI World Cup final. Gazette representation of the People Order Amendment Ordinance issued. Candidate contesting under alliance must use own party's symbol. Expatriates, government officials and voters under lawful custody able to cast vote by IT-supported postal ballots. Hearings on appeal on seeking the reinstatement of the 13th Amendment and revival of the caretaker system during elections period adjourned until tomorrow. Election Commission decides to register National Citizens Party NCP, Bangladesh Samaj Tantrik Dal Marxist and Bangladesh Aam Jonagon Party as political party. Biplobi Workers' Party leaders meet Chief Election Commissioner, submits 31-point election reform proposal, including stopping use of black money in elections. Next hearing against 5 accused in case of 2 murder, including shooting a person hanging from rooftop cornice in Rampura during July mass uprising on November 10. Next hearing against a 30 accused in murder case of martyred Abu Said on November 10. Everyone involved in July killings and enforced disappearance to be tried. Whichever government comes to power next would complete these trial proceedings, says Information and Broadcasting Advisor Mahfuz Alam. Today is the final day of final round of Bangladesh Television's popular talent hunt show Notun Kuri. Conference of Arab and Muslim majority countries in Istanbul urges Israel not to violate the ceasefire in Gaza. Voting begins for mayoral election in New York City of USA. Trump threatens to cut federal financial aid if Zohran Mamdani elected. And BCB announces 14-member team with Nazmul Hussain Shanto as captain for 2-match test series against Ireland. Assalamu alaikum.
Probe committee hands over investigation report to chief advisor over air crash on Milestone School and College. The accident resulted from pilot's operational error during takeoff, says press secretary. International Crimes Tribunal completes the 17th day of testimony over killing 7 people, including burning of 6 bodies in Ashulia. Lawyers of BNP and Jamaat conclude hearing on an appeal to reinstate the caretaker government system. Jamaat-e-Islami demands to hold referendum before general election, if not possible in November, says Hamidur Rahman Azad. NCP to announce candidates for the upcoming general election by 15th November, says Nahid Islam. Information and Broadcasting Advisor urges July warriors and martyr families to integrate themselves with media ecosystem. Zohran Mamdani elected as first Muslim and youngest ever mayor of New York City. And West Indies get victory over New Zealand in T20 cricket after 19 years.
Shipping advisor Shakawat Hussain inaugurates modern terminal complex at Nagarbari River Port. Hopes transportation of goods become more dynamic alongside creating employment opportunities. Long-awaited Komlapur Titipara underpass in Dhaka opened for vehicular movement. No died of dengue in last 24 hours, while 834 admitted to hospitals. Health advisor urges individuals to step forward alongside government combating dengue outbreak. BNP to remain on field to resist secret forces of fascists, says acting chairman Tariq Rahman at Hindu Representatives Conference. BNP to build secular, progressive and prosperous Bangladesh if comes to power. Interim government committed to holding national elections within the first half of February, says Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam. Turkey issues arrest warrants against Israeli Prime Minister and other top officials over allegations of genocide in Gaza. And Bangladesh eliminated from the tournament after losing to Australia by 54 runs in quarter-finals of Hong Kong International Sixes cricket. Assalamu alaikum.
Verdict on appeal, filed writ to reinstate the caretaker government system during election period to be announced on November 20. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus calls for enhancing and strengthening the quality of Bangladesh National Cadet Corps to engage country's youth in leadership, discipline and national development. Anyone involved in terrorist activities not to be spared, says Home Advisor. He urges to inform law enforcement agencies about suspected sabotage. Government to announce decision on implementation of July Charter within next 2 to 3 days, says Law Advisor. Prosecution not under any pressure, setting date to announce verdict in Sheikh Hasina's case on November 13. Dialogue between Election Commission and political parties begins from November 13. Posters not to be used in election campaigns. Signatory parties not to be obliged to accept any government decision outside July National Charter, says BNP leader Dr. Khandekar Musharraf Hussain. National Parliament elections to be held on legal basis of July Charter, says Jamaat-e-Islami Amir Dr. Shafiqur Rahman. At least 12 killed and 27 injured in a powerful explosion outside the court building in Islamabad of Pakistan. And in Sylhet, Ireland scored 270 runs for 8 wickets against Bangladesh in first day of first test. Assalamu alaikum.